how to install a VPN to add security and privacy to your Starlink internet. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. I love that smokiness, guys, of that lap song. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking photo, talking video, talking tech. Today is a tech day. It is a Starlink VPN day. This is an additional video to the video that I did about VPNs about a week ago or so. I got a lot of requests for additional information, and that's what we're going to do today here. We're going to show you how to install this VPN on an iPhone and on a computer so that you can see how it is done and using a Starlink internet service provider as the back end. The ISP, let's call it. You can also use this information if you don't have Starlink. It's going to be the exact same process, but I'm currently using Starlink, so I'm showing you how to do it through them. So before I get into it, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, go check them out. Go over to jcristina.com/books. Once again, jcristina.com/books. Also, if you got anything out of this video at all, please consider throwing it a thumbs up. That would be very, very helpful. And consider subscribing. Subscribe to the channel and click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And very importantly here, if you just simply want to say thank you for all of my hard work here, there's now a little button down there that says thank you. You can click on that or just become a member of the channel. That would be fantastic. I would really appreciate it. If you want more coverage, more Starlink coverage, go to my Starlink playlist after this video is over, and you're going to find 60 to 70 other videos that I've done about Starlink having to do with how-tos, tips, tricks, all kinds of commentary regarding the subject. So once again, when you're done watching this video, go and check that out. Today, we're going to install PureVPN. Now, PureVPN is the VPN service that I ended up picking out of all the ones that I checked out. I'll probably be checking out other ones, but out of all of them, it is by far, hands down, the best. So if you want to see that video, I'll put a link somewhere right around here. Go check that out. But today is going to be a PureVPN installation day. I'm going to install it on my computer and on my iPhone from scratch so you can see how to do it. A lot of you guys have asked me from that last video, how do you actually do it? Also, if you want more information to dive deeper than this, I can get in a lot deeper. Maybe I'll make a series just on this. You just let me know in the comments below. So the question is, what the heck is a VPN anyways? All right, let's just start out with that. And what is a VPN not? That's even more important because some people just get it twisted. They think like the VPN is like an all-encompassing security thing and you install it and now you're just like 100% secure. That's not necessarily the case. So what exactly is a VPN? Think of a VPN as an encrypted tunnel between you and the internet, all right? And at the end of that tunnel, there's a firewall. That firewall is what stops everything from going in and out, but the tunnel itself, all of the data going in and out is encrypted, which is really quite nice. So it's like giving you added protection is what it's doing. People would be like, well, you can just go to an HTTPS, a secure website. All that data is encrypted anyways. Yes, it is, but it's encrypted to the site only, but your ISP and other people sniffing your traffic can find out exactly what you're doing. And if you want privacy, you need a little bit more. And that's what a VPN does. So what exactly is a VPN good for? Well, number one, it is really good for hiding your location. So if you're trying to access data or content from other countries, for example, that is restricted, maybe a sporting event or Netflix or Pandora or Hulu or maybe Disney Plus or something, you can do that. Number two, what makes it really great is it allows you to bypass censorship. What does that mean? Basically, you have access to censored content, maybe a newspaper or a magazine or a website that you really wouldn't or shouldn't have access to in your location due to some type of censorship happening where you're located. And number three, one of the things that's paramount is encryption. And it provides encryption. The VPN acts as that firewall, like I was saying, between you and the internet. And all traffic to you and from you is encrypted with this 256-bit military-grade encryption. That is very, very mission critical for privacy. What is equally important is that a VPN encrypts all of your DNS requests. I know you're saying, well, what the hell is a DNS request, Joe? What is DNS? I'm glad you asked me. DNS is basically domain name system. Just think of it as a phone book from the 80s, one of those big fat things that you don't want to get clobbered with. Well, if you were to look up in a phone book, Joseph Christina, you would look up Christina Joseph, you would go to the C's and you would find me, and then it would show you my phone number and my address. Well, the same thing happens with a computer and the internet. When you type in google.com, the DNS server changes google.com into an IP address. For me, if I do a request for Google today, it would be 74.125.136.138. So that is the IP address for Google near me, let's call it. All right. So it translates that so that you don't need to know that big long number. You just type in google.com and the DNS server does the rest. So since all of your DNS requests are encrypted, sites that are trying to track your movement, where have you been? Where are you going? What have you clicked on? All of this stuff, they cannot get that information. This also means that your ISP and your boss and your school and maybe that guy that's sitting at Starbucks sniffing all of the Wi-Fi traffic, he cannot also get that information, where you're going, what you're clicking on, your passwords, what's going on. None of that goes through to him, nor to your ISP, your boss, your school, or anywhere else. Why? Because it's being encrypted. It is that firewall that is sitting just before your ISP. So the ISP is getting encrypted information, it is sending it out, it's getting the information back, and that information is then de-encrypted into your computer. This is great, or into your phone if you're using the VPN on your phone. So once again, encrypting your DNS traffic also gives you an added bit of privacy, so that even your ISP or your boss or anyone else that is sitting just before you in the internet doesn't know what you're doing, where you're going, where you've been, none of it. Because those DNS lookups, when you're looking through the phone book, is not being recorded or it's being encrypted. So they don't know what you're looking up. So when you do that lookup for Google, it doesn't know you looked up Google. And that is really nice. Once again, so that you remain a little bit more anonymous, added privacy. Now, some people think that a VPN is kind of like a shot, that once you get that shot, you don't get the viruses anymore. Yeah, kind of like what we just went through. But it works the same way with this. The VPN does not or is not that end-all be-all. You can still get viruses. If you go click on a link inside of an email that you shouldn't click on, well, you could get phished. Or you can get a virus. Or if you get a message from a Nigerian prince that says they want to send you a rare artifact, that's all you have to do is pay for the freight. You're not going to be helped with a VPN. The only way to stop these kind of threats is just education and maybe some common sense that some people don't have anymore, but I know you guys watching do. So now that we know what a VPN is and what it is not, let's go ahead and install the PureVPN into our computer, and then I'm going to show you how to install it on the phone. So let's jump right into it. All right, a little sip of tea, and we're getting right into it. Now, I'm going to show you my screen so you can see what's going on. Basically, what we're going to install is PureVPN. It is super simple, but there's different ways of doing it. Number one, you could use the PureVPN for Windows, and what that does is it downloads an exe onto your computer, and then you install it. Or you could use the Google Chrome method, where you're just simply installing an extension. I like this method because if you end up not liking it, you can just delete the extension and it's just gone. I always hate installing stuff on a computer and then later on trying to delete it, and then it's not really deleted because Windows sucks. That's for a whole nother video. Anyways, so that's all we have to do is go over to PureVPN. And once we're here, we're just going to simply click Get This Deal. Now, I will give you a link. This is my link. If you use it, I might get 50 cents. I don't know. But if you want to help the channel, please use the link that I give you in the comment area below. I'm going to have a pinned comment, but also in the description. Just click on that. That is mine. Anyways, we go here to PureVPN. We hit get this deal or whatever. Once we end up getting the deal and logging into the account, it looks something like this. Now, I'll blur out my account information here on the left-hand side. Now, on the right-hand side, we can see other devices. So not only can we install this through Google Chrome or using the PureVPN Windows EXE, but it can be installed not only on Mac, but Windows. You can also install it on Linux, Android, iOS devices like an iPad or iPhone. You see it has the Google Chrome, which is what we're going to use. We also have Firefox, Edge, Brave. What's really cool is it also does TV. So you can install it on your Android TV, Fire Stick, Chrome OS, and there's a whole bunch of other devices that can use PureVPN. Look through that if there's something else that you want to install it on besides your phone and your computer, which we're going to do right now. So that's all we have to do is click on Install on Chrome. So when we click on that, it's going to bring you over to the download page. We hit Add to Chrome right here. As we can see, 4.5 stars out of 3,150 people, 300,000 users. Excellent. Let's go ahead and hit Add. Now it's going to say, hey, you sure you want me to do this? Add PureVPN proxy? Yes, let's go ahead and do this. Add it as an extension. It's saying checking, and then it will go ahead and add it into the extension. So there's one other thing we need to do. It says use this extension by clicking on the icon. Manage your extension by clicking on extensions in the tool menu. This is important. Let's hit X here. So as we can see, that extension that was just added, the PureVPN, it was a little green one up here, is missing. It's gone. What the hell happened? That's all we have to do is right here is click on extensions. And now we go down to where it says PureVPN and we click on this little pin here. This pin is going to now bring it up to the top. So now if we click on this, it allows us to either create an account or log in. Now I've already created an account, so let's go ahead and log in. And it says, please wait, configuring. And that is it. It understands that we're in the US and it's asking us to click connect to start using the VPN. Let's not do that as of yet. We're going to go now into this little cog wheel here, and we're going to go to advanced features. Now, this is very, very important. Now, from here, we have multiple things that we can do. We have bypass proxy. Now here it says choose to disable proxy for particular websites, even in the connected state. So if we click on this, we can add IP addresses or websites that we do not want the VPN working on. So if it's a bank or maybe a certain site that really needs you to be at your specific location or whatever the case might be that you do not want to have the VPN proxy working, you just simply add it here to this list. You also have WebRTC leak protection. This says that it prevents websites from using your IP address and other sensitive information. We have that turned on. Next, we have spoof GPS location. This allows you to fake your actual GPS location, so hackers and phishers, they really don't know where you're located, geographically located. So now, as you can see, we can click the green button and actually connect to the VPN. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do one other thing. Let's come back over to our account. So from here, you can see that my plan has PureKeep as well as US port forwarding and dedicated IP. The reason I got this is because a majority of you have been wanting to use a VPN for doing things like having a static IP address with Starlink or having a static IP address for using your cameras and viewing them remotely and all kinds of other stuff that you need to have not only a static IP address for, but you also need port forwarding. So let's say you're playing some certain video games or whatnot, and port forwarding is important. Port forwarding and a dedicated IP is only like $2 or $3 or $3.50 extra. If you're getting PureVPN or any VPN, make sure you get port forwarding and a dedicated IP address, a static IP address, because Starlink doesn't offer either of those two features because it uses CGNAT. If you want to know what CGNAT is, go back to that video. I'll put that link over here once again. Go check that out. Now from here, you want to do something that is extremely important. Come over to subscriptions, and from subscriptions, now I have two. Select a subscription, and this shows the subscription. and it also shows my IP address here. What we need to do is click configure. So when we're using this static IP address with port forwarding, we want to configure this before we use it. The reason being is it comes automatically with enable all ports. What this means is if someone knows that IP address, your static IP address, they can tunnel into your computer and have access to everything because all of your ports are open. I believe they do this to make things easy for people, but in my personal opinion, I think this should be set to disabled. The reason why is because we don't want anyone to come into our system. We're looking for more privacy than less. So what you want to do is if you want to shut off that static IP address completely, you can click over here, disable all ports. Now, even if someone knows that IP address, it is disabled. But what we want to do is open the ports that need to be opened. So if we click on enable specific ports, this is where we can type in here what ports we want access to through the internet to our computer. So maybe it's port 80, which would be a web server, or 8088, or maybe you're looking to remotely view your Google Nest cameras, for example. So you would look up what camera you have and what ports need to be open, and you would enter them in here. Very, very simple. So we want to do that before using it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the VPN as it is. We're not going to get into the static IP and all the different things you can do with static IP and port forwarding. That is for another video if you guys are interested in it. If you are, in the comment area below, let me know what nuances of this you want more information on. And like I said, maybe I'll make a series, a whole bunch of information on this stuff, because it's very important. A lot of people don't know how important security is. And today it's more important than ever because sites like Facebook and now TikTok was just in the news, and a lot of they monitor where you're going, not just while you're on the site, but they inject JavaScript into your crap so that even when you're off their site, they know where you're going, what you're clicking on, where you've been, everything. We don't want that to happen. That's just horrible. All right. So if we take a look at my IP address as of right now, you can see it's this 9897 dot, and I'll just blur out the rest. This is my IP address, or my POP, or my point of presence, that's located in Atlanta, Georgia. Because I'm using Starlink, and for some reason my POP is in Atlanta, Georgia instead of Miami, which pisses me off, but that's just the way it is. So that is my IP address. But watch what happens when we turn on our Pure VPN. Let's go ahead and hit connect. All right, it's connecting, and that's it. So let's see what the IP address is now. Well, now my IP address is 185.124. something. All right. So now how about if we want an IP address in a different location? So we simply click on that Pure VPN logo up here, which looks like a US flag. We select country, and then we can select any of these countries to be located. It doesn't matter where it is. Let's be in Nigeria. Look at that, connecting. All right. So now let's take a look at what our IP address is. Now it's going to take a little bit. Now you see how that there was a little bit of a slowdown? The reason being is now it believes that I'm in Nigeria, and instead of having a speed or a milliseconds of maybe 30, 40 milliseconds, it's going to be a hell of a lot more. If we just simply click the United States, it will randomly select a server that is closest to me. If we want to use a different server, we can, and I will show you how right now. Let's go ahead and see what my IP address is right now. It's saying my IP address is 64.94.214.3. Now watch what happens when we change our location. Let's go ahead and once again go to the country. We're going to come down to the United States. And then instead of just simply clicking United States, we'll click this little toggle here, and it pulls over different servers in different locations in the United States. Now, since I'm located in Florida, the closest servers would be here in Miami. But since I'm using Starlink and my point of presence or my POP is in Atlanta, it'd probably be better if I use Atlanta servers. All right. So we can test that out. I can just simply click here and then select the Atlanta server. Let's go ahead and click this. It says connecting. Let's see what my IP address is now. Now my IP address is 45.9.15.60. Now, if we go in here again, let's go ahead and change this location. Once again, we'll come down to the United States. we'll click this little toggle, and instead of Atlanta, let's go to Miami. So Miami has 2 different servers located there. Let's click on this one, the 129. We click that, it says connecting, boom. Now if I go to what's my IP, hit refresh, there we go. Now we're at 37.221.112.102. You can tunnel or route your internet experience through servers anywhere in the world. I think PureVPN has about 6,500 in total. So this gives you a bunch of added protection. Is it a end-all be-all to your security? No, it is not. But it adds a ton of security that you didn't have without using it. And at the cost, it is so cheap. It is cheap, cheap, cheap. Like I said, don't forget to get a dedicated IP address or a static IP in your port forwarding for an extra like $3. It is worth it. So anyways, let's go from the computer now into the phone and I'll show you how to do it. It's very, very simple. So we head over to the App Store and what we're going to do is we're going to look for PureVPN. And there it is. Now, I've downloaded it before, but I deleted it so that you can see me actually download it. So let's go ahead and hit that button to download. Keep your PureVPN credentials next to you. So it's very easy for you to log in here the same way that you logged in to the computer version, all right, through your Chrome extension. So now let's go ahead and open the application. PureVPN would like to send you notifications. Do you want to allow or not allow or schedule? Let's just go ahead and click don't allow. I really don't need any notifications. Now we have to agree to their terms, of course, just like before, agree and continue. Now it gives you a quick run through of what exactly it is. There's 4 pages where it tells you some background of what it can do, which is kind of nice. And down at the bottom, it says create an account, or if you already have an account, you can click log in. Now, since we have done this already on the computer, we're just going to simply hit log in. But for you, that's all you need to do is type in your VPN username, which is usually the email address that you used, and the password that you originally used when we installed it using Chrome. So you do this and now it's going to say not connected. Here we can connect immediately just by clicking connect. PureVPN would like to add VPN configurations. All network activity on this iPhone may be filtered or monitored when using VPN. I'm going to hit allow. So from here, it's going to ask me to enter in my phone password. It's showing me that I have an IP address at the top of 45.74.21.227. Now that IP address, of course, is through Atlanta, Georgia. So let's go ahead and do one more. Let's click on United States, and instead of Atlanta, let's go to Miami. We're going to go ahead and hit yes, let it do its thing. And as you can see, we're connected. We are now based in Miami with a VPN IP address of 172.94.89.67. So as you can see, every time we bounce around the planet, we're getting different IP addresses. Very cool. Once again, this keeps you anonymous. So right now we're based in Miami. Let's go ahead and do a speed test real quick just to see what kind of speed we get coming out of Miami. We'll go ahead and use Ookla here. And as you can see, if we stretch this out, it says that we're going through a server in Miami. Let's go ahead and hit connect and see how quick this is. Now remember, we're going through Starlink, but we're going through a server that's in Miami. Now watch what happens here. We have a download speed of quite impressively over 134 megabits down. And let's see what this up speed is. Now we know that we've been capping out at about 10 megabits as of late because of the congestion and whatnot through Starlink, but we're able to hit 13.6 here. Not bad. Now let's go ahead and swap back over and change from Miami to, let's say, Washington, D.C. Are you sure? Yes. Let's go ahead and change over to Washington, D.C. and allow it to connect. So, all right, it is now connected. We have a new IP address. Once again, this time it's 172.94.95.34. Let's go ahead and reopen the application and see where it thinks that we're located. Now, when we pull this up, it's saying, hey, you're located in Ashburn, Virginia. Why is that? Well, because we're using an IP address based out of that location. Let's go ahead and hit go and see what kind of speeds we get. Once again, like I said before, we are using Starlink, but we're now using a server that's based in Washington, D.C., or as we can see here, Virginia. Not bad speed. We have 109 down. Now the up speed, we're at about 6. It's barely holding on at 6. This is kind of normal with Starlink as of late, so let's call it 6. There it is. Now, we're going to close the app again, and I want to show you something that will really show the difference here when it comes to speeds. Let's go ahead and change this to London, England. So, are you sure? Yes. Connecting. So we're going to allow this to connect to London, England. And it shows that it's connected. We have an IP address now of 172.94.6.5. Let's go ahead and open the speed test one more time and watch what it shows us. Let's swipe up. Look at that. We're now using Lightning Fiber Ltd out of London. So it understands that we are actually located in London, England. Let's go ahead and hit go and see what kind of speed test we get here. Look at the milliseconds. It said 137 milliseconds instead of like 60 or 50. But look at the speeds. So the speed is still fantastic. The only difference here, guys, is the latency, right? The latency. So instead of having a 40 or 50 ping, we end up with 136 ping or 134 ping or whatever. Why is that? Because we're going out of a server based in London, England. But look at the speeds, 117 down and 11.4 up. So as you can see here, we are not losing any downward or upload speed. That's all we're doing is adding latency. So instead of a 30 and 40 millisecond ping, we end up with a 130 some millisecond ping. Why is that? Because we're going through a server that's located on the other side of the world. So this is very, very powerful that you're not losing any kind of speed up or down. You're just adding a little bit of latency and you have full protection this way. Remember, PureVPN is not that one shot that's going to prevent all viruses. That is not how it works. It is not going to prevent your stupidity, things that you click on, you not knowing what you should be clicking on and not clicking on, phishing things. It is not going to stop this. But what it does do, like I said before, it will give you the ability to hide your location so you can access restricted content like sporting events and Hulu and Pandora and Netflix and Disney Plus and all the rest of them. It also gives you a means of bypassing censorship. So if you want to access data that normally you can't, you can use the VPN then to access it. Doesn't matter if it's magazines or newspapers or whatever it is, websites, you can access them. And also you get that encryption, that military grade 256-bit encryption, that tunnel between you and the internet. All right, which also encrypts your DNS traffic. So you don't have to worry about, like I said, your boss or your school or your ISP or any other service provider or anything that you're using, including that guy that is sitting there fishing for information, sniffing traffic at your local Starbucks. No one can get that information because it is encrypted. So there's a lot of useful things that you can do with a VPN. I'm personally using the PureVPN right now. I'm going to test out other ones, but like I told you at the beginning, this is the one that I found to be the best, hands down, the best so far. So if you want to use my link below to help out the channel, you can go check it out. I think they have like a 31-day money-back guarantee or something. Just go test it out. Load it into your phone, try it out, load it in as a Chrome extension. Like I told you guys, don't even bother downloading the EXE. If you don't like it, just delete the Chrome extension and it disappears. It's gone. All right? 31-day money-back guarantee. Go give it a shot. You got nothing to lose, right? It is very valuable. As I said before, if you want more information, you want me to dive even deeper into this, maybe get into static IPs, maybe get into different services, different things that you can do with it. Let me know in the comment area below. Give me those topics that you want me to cover. And like I said, maybe I'll make a series on this because a lot of people are very interested in privacy and security today because they hear in the news all this stuff that happens with like Facebook and TikTok and all of this stuff where they are monitoring everything that's going on. So once again, give it a try. If you enjoyed this content, even in the least, please give this video a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel as of yet, please subscribe and click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want more Starlink goodness, like I said before, go to my Starlink playlist. There's a lot over there, 60, 70 videos. Good information, I promise you. Finally, Head over to my website, jchristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay secure, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.